One of the most common questions that I hear from writers is, how do I get an agent, or how do I write the ultimate query letter? So in today's video, I'm going to give you 4 tips that you probably haven't heard before. Okay, writing the ultimate query letter, tip number 1. So tip number 1 is before you even begin to compose that query letter, I want for you to get clear about your feelings and your energy. Like, why are we doing that? What does feelings of energy have to do with writing the ultimate query letter? So it comes down to this. Often I will be chatting with a writer and they will be talking about wanting to get an agent, but they will be in a place of frustration. They will be thinking, oh, it's just so hard, or like, yeah, you know, I've sent out query letters, but I didn't hear anything back, or it just seems so competitive these days, or I just don't know, I'm finding it really difficult to even think about how to get an agent. So you can get a sense of all of the feelings there. The feelings are quite heavy, the feelings aren't that motivating, the feelings are, like I said, the feelings are frustrated, the feelings are all about like, this is really difficult, I don't know what I'm doing. And so the energy is heavy, the energy is really uninspiring. And when we're in this place, we're really in a place of powerlessness. So if we're feeling frustrated, if we're feeling like we don't know what we're doing, or we're feeling like it's really difficult or challenging, all of those feelings, all of that energy around those feelings is really taking our power from us. And so imagine it, you want to write the ultimate query letter, but you don't have any power. So you can imagine what that query letter is going to be like, right? So you want to get a sense of, first of all, the importance of those feelings and that energy. You want to start to understand that unless you're feeling powerful, that query letter is going to be really affected. The second area, in terms of really getting clear about your feelings and your energy, is how you feel towards the agent. Again, like when I'm chatting with writers, they really talk about the agent as like this hero that's going to come along and rescue them. Like the agent is like the prize for the writer. The agent's going to come along on their stallion and they're going to save the day. So they're really seeing the agent as the hero. Now, as we know, in any story that has a hero, there has to be a victim. There has to be someone who needs saving. So if you're in this position where you're hoping that an agent is going to come along and save you, what energy are you experiencing? How does it feel to want to have someone come and save you? So again, you're in that place of, I'm a victim, I need saving, I haven't got the power, it's the agent who's got the power, it's the agent who's going to come along and rescue me from this really crummy situation. So once more, we've got feelings and energy that aren't enabling you to really be in your shoes as a writer. The feelings and energy aren't really enabling you to know your own worth and to really have this sense of yourself as master or commander or heroine of your own destiny. And so this makes us part of a story where we're the underdog, or we're the weak one, or we're the victim. And when we're in that place, we're either not going to be motivated to even write that query letter, or we're not really going to be able to sell ourselves in a way that's going to make us stand out. We're going to feel vulnerable, we're going to feel really dependent on the agent, and we're not going to be putting our best foot forward. So when you see yourself as you truly are, when you feel in a way that really supports what you want from your writing project, when you've got an energy that's really connected to your dreams and your passions, the ultimate future you see for yourself as a writer, you're going to really see yourself as the writer, as the creative that you utterly deserve to be, and you're going to be able to communicate about yourself in that way. So that's the first tip, to really get clear about your feelings and your energy. Like, get honest and get really clear about how you want to feel and the kind of energy that you want to bring into that query letter. So the agent isn't there to save you. You are the hero yourself. The agent's lucky. The agent's lucky to hear from you. Second tip that you probably haven't heard before when writing a query letter is to make friends with time. Let me tell you, I come across so many writers and they want an agent yesterday. Now, is that possible? Is it possible to have an agent yesterday? No. And so when we're not friends with time and we want something to have happened yesterday, what are we saying to ourselves? This is impossible. And so again, we wonder why it's not happening for us. We wonder why we're really struggling, because our brain has got this instruction. Our brain is being told, I want something, but I want it yesterday. And the brain's like, dude, I'm really not sure how to make that happen. And so you'll probably find that you're procrastinating because the brain's like, I don't know how to get an agent for you yesterday, and I'm kind of scared about the whole prospect, so I'd rather just not do it. So when we make friends with time, we start to understand that the future holds all that's available. If we want an agent yesterday, it's never going to happen because we can't go back to yesterday. But if we allow ourselves at some point in the future to have this relationship with an agent, we allow ourselves the time that we need. And so then we can start to use that time wisely. We can start to use that time to do the proper research. Because if we want an agent yesterday, we're going to rush. We're not going to do proper research. We're going to rush the way that we express ourselves in that covering letter. We're probably going to rush our submission because we're trying to achieve something in a time that doesn't even exist, because we're trying to achieve it yesterday. Whereas by making friends with time, by really trusting that the future holds the experience that we want, we're going to give ourselves the time that we need, which is so important. Unless you give yourself the time that you need, you're not going to be able to make this happen, because you're not going to give yourself what you need to do in order to make it happen. So you're going to be able to do all of the research that you need, and that means that you're taking action from a place that is going to get you the results that you want. When I first got my first agent, I did stacks of research. I read at least 3 books from the clients that the agent represented, and there were many agents, when I did research, I discovered, oh, actually, this agent isn't going to be a right fit for me. And the beauty is, when you discover that, you realize, oh, if I'd rushed this, I probably would have sent them a query letter, but they wouldn't have been the right agent for me. And so I would have gotten all these rejections simply because I hadn't done my research in the first place. Tip number 3, get creative about how you connect and look to build a long-term relationship. So what do I mean by this? Now, you could do your research, you could find an agent, and you could think, okay, this is really the agent for me. When time is your friend, you're going to realize that you don't have to write to that agent yesterday. In fact, you may not even write your submission to that agent today. What you might do is connect with them in an interesting way. So it might be that you have a blog, or it might be that you create YouTube content, or it might be that you're on a platform such as Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn. And so I find it fantastic when there are people that I want to connect with. I will send them a message and I will say things like, would you be interested in doing an interview? And so there are many, many agents who are really prepared to do video interviews, live broadcast interviews, so like a Facebook Live or a LinkedIn Live or a YouTube Live. It may be that they're prepared for you to email them questions and they email you their answers and you publish it on their blog. So the beauty of this is that you get to really pick that agent's brain. So once more, you might get some really useful tips from them, but also you might start to get to know them better. I've reached out to agents and I've done interviews with them, and I've either come to think, actually, do you know what? This probably isn't the right agent for me. I'm looking for a new agent now. So I might be thinking this isn't the right agent for me, or they might be able to give me a recommendation of an agent who is the right agent for me. So I find this is a really great way to make long-term connections, long-lasting friendships, but also to do additional research. So get creative about connecting with an agent, connect with them to do an interview, or connect with them to pick their brain about something that you then want to create some content around. And you don't have to mention your book at this stage, but when you start to build that relationship, you can then begin to pick their brain. And so if it eventually does come to the point that you do want to submit to them, they're already going to have a sense of who you are. And it may be that you either decide, yes, I do want to submit to them, or actually they're not the right agent for me. But then you've built the relationship to a place where you can say to them, listen, I'm thinking about submitting a query letter now. Is there someone that you recommend? So get really creative about how you connect and build that long-term relationship. Tip number 4, final tip for today, ask yourself, what's the benefit of an agent? Now, this is about really helping you not just get clear about your power, but also to really understand, is an agent the best step forward for me? So for example, the publishing world is really changing. So just as before Netflix came along, we had Blockbuster Video, and everybody used to leave their house and go to a shop and browse the DVD titles and grab their DVD. That's a little bit like the system of an agent, whereas Netflix, as in the online world and self-publishing, it's really changing the landscape. So it might be that Blockbuster or an agent is going to be a different entity in 10 years or 5 years' time. So it might be that you think that you want an agent, but maybe an agent isn't the right thing for you. Maybe you'd be better off developing your own platform online and self-publishing a book, or reaching out directly to an independent publisher. The beauty of that is when you follow the third tip and you start building relationships with agents, you can start to pick their brain and find out more about the benefit of an agent, whether an agent really is right for you. Often people think, oh, well, the benefit of an agent is that I'm going to get my book published. But let me tell you, my friends, I know plenty of published writers who might have had 1 or 2, even 3 books published, who now are working with their agent to send out a new book, and it isn't guaranteed that that next book is going to get published. And so they're going to be with an agent, yeah, and getting editorial benefit from that agent, but having an agent doesn't guarantee you that publishing deal. So I think once you start to get really clear about the agent, you're not simply thinking of this agent that's, that's going to come along on the white horse and save you, but you're thinking, is this a relationship that I am right for? Is it the kind of relationship that I think it is? Is it the kind of relationship that's going to take me to where I want to really get to as a writer? So that fourth one is to ask yourself and get really clear, what is the benefit for you of having an agent? Now, those are my 4 tips, and those aren't exhaustive, but I think they're 4 areas that whenever I'm talking to writers, they seem to be areas that the writers aren't even thinking about. Like the writers are just like, tell me what to put in an email to get an agent. And I'm like, listen, the work that you need to do now is about how you feel. The work you need to do now is about looking at your energy and making friends with time and actually just connecting and networking with agents and really getting clear of the benefit. Only then are you ready to start composing and sending that query letter. Please don't scrimp on the work in these 4 areas. I absolutely guarantee you, the more you develop these 4 areas, the more you're going to set yourself up for success. And I want for you to understand that it takes consistency to really develop a successful career as a writer. It's about consistently showing up every day, each day, and doing the work. And this consistency, this showing up every day, for me, my clients, it just makes such a dramatic impact on the way that they're able to create, the way that they're able to live, the way that they're able to earn. If you're interested in this area, of how can you make an impact, how can you make an income with your writing, then you are going to love my masterclass, Create, Live and Earn Just the Way You Want. It's free at the moment, so you'll be able to download it and you can tune in, you can watch the masterclass and really start to learn more about making that impact with your audience, making the income that you really deserve so you can create, live and earn just the way you want. You'll find a link below. Head on over to the landing page. You'll be able to grab that masterclass and start watching it straight away today. I really hope you get tons of value from it. I've been getting some really lovely feedback, so I know that you're going to enjoy it. And wishing you a beautiful, productive, creative week. And I look forward to seeing you next Monday. Take care.